My name is Nate Bargatze, and I am from Old Hickory, Tennessee, right outside Nashville. My dad's a magician, and when I grew up, he was a clown. Like he first started, so I've watched him go. He doesn't do clown anymore, but I've watched him go through the rankings. And one day he went and did a show for me. When he was in college at Trevecca, Nazarene College, we stayed on a house like on campus, and I went to like the kinder house, so for like the kindergartners. So we went there. My dad came and was doing a show, dressed up as a clown, and so I like asked to sit on stage behind him, to be like, look, this is my dad. So I try to be cool, I guess. So I'm sitting up there, and he had this one magic trick, where it was like this little wooden box. It was like like that thick, like this, and it had a dog on this side, and there was a door. There was two doors that opened out, so the dog would go from one side to the other side. And then the trick was is like you would see the dog go across, and he would have all the kids yell which door, and they would point at this door, and then the dog would not be in that door. So it's not like it's a big trick, but I'm sitting behind him, and how the trick works is there's two dogs. So as he's doing it, I just sit behind him and just yell, "Hey, Dad!" I don't know if you know this, but there's two dogs back here. So I just give his entire trick away to about 100 kindergarten kids. I remember one time we had a party at my parents' house. They were out of town. I got in trouble for this party, but we were staying outside. I had a girlfriend just break up with me, and I did like a huge rant on her breaking up with me. And I just kind of remember, I really think it was like 45 minutes. I felt I was out there forever. And like I remember people laughing and gathering around. So it was like, I don't know, it was funny. And like I remember talking to this one guy, Lucas Norris, the guy from he was like, man, it's funny. Like, and I remember we went to another party, and he tried to get me to do the exact same rant. So it was almost my first time of trying to like repeat, and that one went really bad. Like people were just like, "All right, now you're just being mean," I think. So that was like my first bomb, I guess. But that was even before I realized I was going to even do stand up. That would be my first. When I look back on it now, that would be my first taste. I remember seeing Sinbad as a kid on TV, and obviously Seinfeld. I'm a huge Seinfeld guy. And Brewer was my first guy I saw live at Zany's. And I remember watching that. I remember thinking, like, you see everybody on the show, like the host in the middle, and you're thinking, like, I bet they're all just, it's great. Their life's great. They're making a ton of money. And I mean, now you get into comedy, you realize, like, the host was probably making $20 for the week, and he's miserable. But I remember watching his show live, and it was cool because I got to work with him last year, and I told him, like, I remembered a lot of his jokes, and I remember he jumped through the crowd and, like, like, give everybody high fives and all that, and I just was like, man, that is the most amazing thing ever. And then I started working cut to a few years later, I started working at a water company, and I was always, you're just always the funny guy. So they were talking about, I said I wanted to do stand-up, and I said I wanted to do comedy, and my other buddy said, hey, that we got another guy that works with us, Michael Clay. He wants to do, like, improv in Chicago at Second City, so he was looking up that stuff. So then me and him talk, and we just agree to move to Chicago, and I go there for 2 years. I did some improv at Second City for like 8 weeks. I didn't really like that, and then I started stand-up, I think it was January of '03 in Chicago. So never did it in Nashville. First place was Chicago. I remember when I'd go back afterwards, they'd always introduce me as like, this guy's from Chicago. When I'd go back to Nashville, and I'd always get like so mad. I was like, I'm not from Chicago. I didn't want like, all these Southern people hating me because I'm some Northern Yankee, and I'm going like, I'm not. I actually probably lived here longer than most of the Nashville comics. I grew up there my whole life, so I remember trying to fight that. I just went in kind of blindly, and I took a class, which I think, it didn't make me funnier, but it made me have something I had to go to. Because if I just had to go to open mics, I would have never went. I would have talked, this class, I would just hope the building would burn down so I could say I tried to go, but the building caught on fire. It's just it's me. I'm just comfortable. It's like I think it's how I am. I'm trying to get a little bit better of like doing I use my hands, obvious. You can see, I use my hands a lot to talk. So I try to use my hands a little more because I know I'm not going to really be jumping around or moving around. So I use my hands a lot more, and facial expressions. I'm trying to get better at that. I'm wearing used to wear. I have glasses, and I put contacts in, like just to try because I got big eyes. So just anything like that, any little thing. If you're gonna be deadpan, any like little kind of something is I feel like it's a huge deal when most people don't. I've been 3 times, and I'm going back. I think I'm going back at the end of January to Iraq. I was supposed to go to Afghanistan this past October, but I did the Comedy Central Presents taping, so I had to cancel that. So hopefully I'm gonna make it back up. Yeah, it's unbelievable. I mean, as a comedian, it's unreal. I mean, I'm obviously I think everybody is very pro the troops and stuff, and I kind of wish I would have joined the army. I just I don't know if I didn't. I got into this, and I feel like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. But if I wasn't, if this all fell through, I would almost probably try to go back to the army because I don't know what I would do, or go to it. So anyway, so now I want to do anything to go over there to I don't know break up their day in the least bit of just they have very a lot of their days are boring, and then they have the most extreme thing. They can have 11 hours is you're laying around, and then on the 12th hour, it's the most insane stuff, you could see ever. It's a huge fight with guns. So it's an amazing experience. And the guy that I go with, his name's Scott Kennedy now, he's been like 50 times. So he goes to very small bases. So it's really cool because you go to places where guys they haven't seen anybody in a while. Like all the big, you go to Kuwait, some of those big bases, they get like huge things. Like the MySpace, when they went over there, they all go to Kuwait and stuff. So this guy really takes you to, we took a convoy through Baghdad and would just drive to this small base. So you're just driving through the streets of Baghdad. I mean, it's amazing. It's a place that you can never really go vacation. It's not like you'd be like, let's go to Iraq and see what it's. So it's neat to get to go somewhere that, that you would never really probably be allowed to go to.